Hi everyone. So let's start the last session for Google Ads, which is also our session 6th. Now, in this session, we're going to cover the reporting part of Google Ads or Google AdWords, and then we are going to touch upon the Google Tag Manager, and lastly, we're going to spend some time on the budgeting and planning process where I'm going to demonstrate you through a couple of examples. How could you set a budget, and then how could you keep a target uh, of CPC or CPA depending upon the ROIs and the cost of the products, etc. Right. So let's start with our session, and before we go on to the reporting part, let's understand one last element from the campaigns and ad groups that we created and the ads that we created. What happens when our ads are disapproved, right? So all of you know that on your left hand side panel on the dashboard, you will find ads and extension tab. If you click on the ads and extension tab, you can see the status of all your ads across various campaigns. Or if you have selected a specific campaign, then you can see the ads of that campaign, right? Now, when you select ads and extension, then you can check your status column and see if your ad is running right now or if your ad is kind of disapproved as of now. And if it is disapproved, then you can just hover your mouse on the word disapproved, and then you can see why the ad has been disapproved. So there would be a reason given for disapproval, right? Uh, the ad can be disapproved due to various reasons, ranging from your ad copy to your landing page to even the code of your uh, landing page or your website, which may have some malicious elements into them, or maybe certain technical errors like the back button not working and so on. So all these things would merit disapproval. So you should actually search on Google for AdWords policies or Google ad policies and read all the policy elements. Okay, so let me take you live into the dashboard and so that you can see it for yourself. Okay, so this is, we are in Google Ads right now, and as you can see on your left panel here, you can see your campaigns, ad groups, product groups, etc. And then here you have the ads and extensions. So if you click on ads and extensions, you will find all your ads listed here, and you can see that some of these ads are disapproved, right? And if I mouse over on this word disapproved, it tells me that the ad is disapproved because of malicious or unwanted software, right? So you can uh, read the policy and you can find out what it means, uh, right? So if you click on this read the policy, help button is going to open up for you, or health tab rather is going to open up for you, and you will find that there are, the reason is explained in a much more comprehensive way, and you can see that maybe the site is infected with viruses or these kind of rogue softwares. Fine. Uh, and hence we would want to have uh, a malicious virus check as well, right? So lot of reasons are there. I think the major reason would, of course, that first of all, one should try is to check for malicious software, run a virus scan on your website, and then one by one check all each one of these guidelines that they have given in the policy to see if there is anything else that is a problem, right? In any case, if you're not able to find any help from here and your ad still doesn't run, then you would want to speak to a uh, customer service or a consultant of AdWords directly. So, in which case, you can actually again go to the Google Worldwide Phone Support page and find out who you can speak to. So, this is your Google Help Center, Google Ads Help Center, and this is in the support.google.com platform, and here you can see the world phone support information. You can search it on Google, or you can go to support.google.com and search for world phone support information, and here you can see there is an India number given for us, 9 to 6 p.m., right, Monday through Friday, and you can contact on this number and someone is going to help you with your troubleshooting your ads, right? So that is one part that we wanted to check today. Fine. Now let's go to AdWords reports. Fine. So reports is easy to get. We're going to come to that in a second. But whenever you create reports, reports are nothing but a set of data. How many clicks, how many impressions, how many conversions, what is the cost, etc., etc. Right? Data is nice, but always support the data with some additional parameters like uh, specific segments. For example, fair enough, the clicks are coming, the CTR is great, but which cities contribute to the best CTR? Which devices contribute to the best conversions, and so on, right? So, which is why segments and filters are important, because we can see the report in the light of these segments like geography or location, devices, or demographics, or time of the day, and so on, right? So let's go ahead. This is a sample report that you can always see when you sign into your Google AdWords. You can see these type of reports, right? You will have your campaigns or ad groups or keywords listed on your left side, and you can see these tabs are the metrics which you would want to keep in your report. Fine. So this is a sample report. Let us go, and similarly you can create a campaign report or an ad group report. So let's go straight into dashboard again and see for ourselves, then come back again and then go back. So we'll do a lot of in and out of this presentation. Okay, so let's go to Google Ads and let's go to, let's say, campaigns. Okay, fine. So we are in the campaign section here, and I can see these are the campaigns. Okay, and I can see the status, etc. here as well. Now this is my reporting dashboard. Okay, and I can download it from here, right? If I click on download, I have several formats, or I can email it, etc., or I can schedule a report on a certain day and time. Fine. So what kind of report do I want to download? I want to download a report where I have key metrics here, given here. Where can I find my key metrics? So I can find my key metrics in columns. I have to click on the column and I have to click on modify, and then I can see or search for all the metrics in performance or conversions, right, or competitive metrics, etc. So I can choose for example, I would want to choose impressions, I would want to choose interactions, right, interaction rate, cost and average cost, right? Average cost is total cost divided by my interactions. Okay, so I would also want to know my CTR, which is click through rate. Out of 100 times, how many people clicked? I can look at average position also if I want, fine, CTR, and I can look at average cost per click as well, right? So how many clicks and what is the average cost per click, average position, how many times out of 100 times when people see, people click on the ad also, and all these things I can set and apply here, right, from here. And when I apply, the dashboard loads again and shows our metrics to us. You can see the metrics that we wanted: average cost, interaction rate, okay, everything, and a lot more also is coming our way, right? So we can choose to just disable everything through same modify columns, or enable whatever tabs we need here, fine. So, and this we download this, for instance, we'll get a, let's say this one, then it's preparing a report and it's going to download also for us, fine. So if I click on this, it's downloading and it's going to open up once it is downloaded, right? So it's now opening up, I guess. Yeah. So your report in Excel sheet is here. You can see, you can delete whichever columns you don't want and keep whichever you want, right? And this is for all the campaigns. So you can also have a report only for one campaign instead of all the campaigns, and see how it works on a week to week basis. So you can have a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 kind of tables, and then you can compare, right? So going back, so what are the metrics that we're going to show in our reports, right? So you can see that I have divided the metrics into three parts: 1, 2, and 3. The first one can be termed as the performance report, where we are going to see how our ads performed, how many times they were visible, how many clicks happened on those ads, what was the click through rate, what was the average cost per click, what was my total cost. So simple: impressions or visibility, and then intent of people or clicks I am going to measure in the performance. In the conversion sections, I am going to measure the conversions, which means how many people actually, after clicking on an ad, took some kind of action, which means bought something or filled up a lead form or any other action that we want them to take, as conversions, and conversion rate and cost per conversion. So simple. So I'll see, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metrics I have in my report here, which tells us about the performance and final conversion, right? The last column you can see is about competition, or competitive metrics rather, which talks about our impression share. Okay, how much, how many times of the opportunities that were given to us to be visible, we were actually visible, right? So it is impression share, which means how many times of eligible impressions where we actually showed our ads. That is the impression share. And then of course we want to know, if we lost some impression share, or if we lost some impression opportunities, why was that? Was it because of rank, ad rank, or was it because of budget, right? So that we can take corrective actions. So these are a set of about 11 metrics that we can show in our reports. Fine. Now we are going, so these were campaign and ad groups level reports that I can do from here. Now I would also be interested in, as a marketer or as the head of department, would want to see how our ads worked. So I'm going to click on ads and extension and see the metrics here, right? Same metrics. I would want to know which ad gave me most of the visibility. I would want to know which ad gave me most of the clicks, right? And which ad gave me more conversions. So this is going to tell me which ad is most effective. There could be some ads which are great in terms of visibility, so they are doing a good job of visibility. There are some ads which do a great job of attracting people, so people come and click on them. And there are some ads which would be great in terms of converting people, which means when people see those ads and click on them and reach our landing page, then they convert. So ads are not so much directly responsible for conversions, but there is definitely an indirect relationship between ads and final buying of a product. Correct. Final buying of a product can depend on various factors like the landing page speed, the landing page content, the ease of buying, the length of the form, the visibility of call for action, any promotional or discount offer, and so on. Right. So it will be unfair to judge an ad basis a conversion, but still there is no harm in getting that statistics and understanding which ads are doing justice to conversions. So look at how once you activate your AdWords campaign, uh, these kind of reports become so insightful for you, and at a glance you can know whether my ad is my complete Google ads is performing or not, is it competitive or not, is it converting or not, right? And if yes, which ads are contributing for conversion. Okay, now after campaign and ad group and after ads, we can get another fourth level of reporting also. Now the fourth level of reporting is on keyword level, and the same process, we have three columns: performance, conversion, and competitive, right? Same metrics. I would want to know which keywords are giving me conversions, which keywords are giving me clicks or traffic, and which are the keywords which I can improve upon, right? So there is no lost impression of budget, because budgets you can't fix at keyword level. Budgets can only be fixed at campaign level. So you would find this metric of lost impression because of budget only at the campaign level, not at the keyword level. So this is the kind of report that you can get for your keywords also, right? So if you see the dashboard, and if say for example I come to my keyword section, which I can click from the left panel of Google Ads, I can see all the keywords here. Okay, and I can, on the same modify columns, I can select my metrics and see which keyword is how costly, right? Let's see. So you can see that there are some keywords which are 34 rupees. There are some keywords which cost 10 or 11 bucks, 24 bucks, 13 bucks a click. And there are some keywords where I'm spending a whole lot of money, right? Most of the money is getting spent here. Uh, and then I should see whether they are working or not for me, right? So I can see my impression share, and I can see that since I'm spending a lot of money here, there is a clear need for optimizing on the rank basis. Ad rank means my quality score and bid needs to be perfect. Okay, quality score depends upon, one of the metrics for quality score is CTR, which is 2.73, is not bad. I perhaps need to slightly work more on my CTR and also work on my more on my bid rather, right? So 34 rupees, it's a competitive keyword actually, if you see, and which is why, okay, this is a competitive keyword, digital marketing, although it's modified broad search, modified broad match rather, but this is where. So these are the kind of insights that you can get at a keyword level. You can see which keywords are working, which are not, and so on. Fine. So let us go back, and now you can create some more innovative reports. Fine. So you can see one report apart from the campaign, ad group, keyword, and ads. These four reports. Another set of reports that you can create, which are by segments, right? So these are segments that we're going to choose. Performance by location. How good are the cities where we target? So why not do the performance check through cities? So if you go here and you can actually go to your locations, okay, and within locations you can actually see what's happening, right? Which are the places from where people are uh, clicking and coming on your ad and converting, etc., etc. On the top, you can actually choose user location report to find which countries, and if you click on a country, then which cities people are coming to you, right? So you can see which are the top cities. Ahmedabad here is a top city, Agra is a top city, right? Rest are long tail of cities from where small group of people are coming, okay? And you can go further on and see which city is giving you maximum CTR. Okay, so you can see this is fair. This is Allahabad, UP, and then you can see on the top there is 6% from Agartala, Tripura. So which CTR is more, which means people are interested. Okay, if CTR is less, then perhaps your ad is not so attractive, or people are not so interested, or people have a lot of choices because of which people are not clicking on your ad. But here, it means people do not see a lot of choices, right? Or your ad really makes sense to them, which is why they are clicking and would want to know more. There is a clear intent whenever there is a high CTR, and we should target these cities, in a much better way. I can see that the CPCs also for these cities is less as compared to other cities which are bigger, right? See another one here. Again, Kerala, very less CPC, 1.67 CTR, not bad, can be improved further. So you can see that the people intent, and we saw Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh, 5 rupees, okay, which is again less than the top cities that we have here. So lot, which means these cities also have lots of competition, and other smaller cities or cities like Kerala otherwise have less competition, and we have a potential to work even better there if we can spend more budgets in these cities, right? So these are the insights again you're getting from your AdWord reports. Now, if you go further on, we can do a similar kind of a report by looking at time and day, performance by time and day. Okay, so going back, and if I click on add schedule on my left panel, then I can actually go to my ad schedule. On the top, you can see day and hour. If I click on day and hour, then I can see which days and which hour of the day am I getting uh, more clicks or more conversions or more impressions and so on, right? So Wednesday 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. so many, and again Wednesday 6 a.m. to and so on, right? So this is different days. This report will run into various pages, like as you can see 1000 pages almost. So there will be a lot of data that you will have to see and find what works best for you. Okay, which day is best, which time is best. What do we mean by best? Best means either we're getting more clicks or we are getting the clicks at a better rate. These are two important things to look at. Fine. So uh, going further on, similarly, can we do a performance by age and gender? Are more males or more females get attracted to our ads? And are they the ones, the males or the females, are buying more? Which one of them is buying more from our website? So again, we can go back to our dashboard and click on demographics uh, tab here and look at a performance report by age and gender. Right, so now you can see where is age group, and you can see by gender also the same way. So 18 to 24 is the age of people who are being targeted here. Okay, we can go to further on pages uh, to find more details, right? You can see again 1000+ pages over here. You can see the distribution of the age groups which are interested in our ads and which click on our ads rather and see our ads. Okay, so these are the people who are clicking. Fine. Now you can see this is the expand box here. If you click on expand, it will expand to include all the metrics that you see here, or you can click on collapse, right, like this. So it will work on carousel way. Then you can see a hide chart or show chart icon, so you can hide the chart, and by this you can show the chart, right? And then you can of course all the columns modified, so you can check your metrics from here, download from your report from here. And this is the segment part. Okay, so suppose if I am going to, let's say, an ad group now, right? While it loads, we're going to go back to our presentation and come here, and we can see a nice other types of segmented reports also, which I'm going to just show you as soon as it loads here. Uh, what you see here is the impression share by device. This is another interesting report that you must include to understand which device is working well for you. Is it computers, desktops, or is it mobile phones, or is it tablets from where you're getting a lot of clicks or conversions, right? It's important to understand so that you can then do a bid adjustment, or then focus more on these users who are more mobile friendly, right? So if you go back here on my ad group, okay, I can see that let's say this is an ad group 1. Okay, and I clicked on it to see more details about the clicks and impressions. This is a dynamic ad, so I want to go to segment here, the segment tab, click on it, and I can see segment by time, which means I want to see which day of the week works best for me. So if I click on this, I can see whether it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when did I get more clicks. So I see here that I peak on Tuesday and Wednesday. These are the ones where I get most of the clicks, and then it reduces and slightly increases again from Saturday, increases, remains almost at the same level here. And from Monday it starts increasing again, peaks up on Tuesday, Wednesday somewhere, and then starts declining. So I can see which days are good for me. Okay, and I can come here and then I would want to do a similar analysis. I would, let's say, first to clear it and then go to devices. Which devices work well for me? Okay, and I can see that mobile phones are working great because that's where I'm getting most of my clicks, and even the CTR is great for mobile. So more important than the volume of click is the intent of the people, that every 10th person, for example, is interested in my ad and he has clicked, right? Although on CPC front they both are similar. Okay, so cost wise they both are same, but I'm getting more traffic and more intent can be captured from mobile phone. So this is the power of segments, that you can now check your keywords or your ad groups or your campaign spaces, segments like time of day or segments like devices, etc. Right? I can also do a top versus other, right? So I can see, did I get more clicks from when I was at the top of the page in search, or did I get more clicks when I was not at the top? So you can see that yes, indeed, uh, I was getting more number of clicks when I was at the top, and my conversion, I mean my CTR, click through rate, is 12.5%, which is huge, as compared to just 1.03% when I was not at the top. So look at how important it is that sometimes to be at the top, although you're spending about 1.5 rupees per click more, but the result is much higher. Correct? Result is like 12 times higher than this. Fine. So these are the insights that you get. Suppose if the insight from here was that no, you actually get more CTR when you are not at the top, then why would you pay so much? You would rather pay less and not be at the top, right? So you reduce our CPCs from here and so on. Fine. Okay, so now let's go back to our presentation, and now you've seen what kind of reports that you can get. So impression share by device is another report which you can easily get. Impression share, you can click on column, go to search and find your impression share from here. Okay, and apply and see what is your impression share. Okay, this is the impression share, and I want to do it by, first of all, let me clear it. Fine, and then I want to see my impression share by device. Okay, do I get, do I exploit more opportunities given to me on mobile phones or on desktops? So on computer my impression share is 15-16%. On mobile phone it is 36-37%. Tablets also it is good. I but I need to definitely work on reaching out people who are on computers. Need to fix this. Okay, and need to fix this also. Of course, both of them are low, but this is definitely much lower than anticipated. So this has to be fixed, and you can know from the reasons whether it is by Of course, it is by rank or not, that you can check from here. And if I see my CTR, that is 6.5%, and here it is 10.9%. So I think on mobile I need to increase my bid for sure, because the CTR is good. If I increase my bid, I can get more impressions. Here I need to work upon definitely my CTR for sure, and a bit on bid also. So anyway, so these reports, 6 7 type of reports that we have talked about, uh, these are very important in getting the insights, and these kind of reports should be prepared once every month, right? So that you get a complete idea, a comprehensive idea of how things are shaping up. Now, once a month report is fine to be presented, but as an AdWords practitioner, you should see these reports every week. Yeah, you may not take an action every week, but you should see these reports every week. Okay, going back, and now we are going to another interesting area, which is Google Tag Manager. Okay, why do we need that tag manager, and what is a tag manager? Now, Google Tag Manager is a place where you create a lot of tags and remotely insert them in your on your website uh, with a specific purpose. So you may want to insert conversion tracking codes or tags, you may want to insert analytics tags, you may want to insert remarketing tags, and each time you have to go to your website, you had to access the backend, you had to access the code, and then insert your tags into those codes. Now this was a laborious process, and also not a great practice, because if by mistake some kind of things get deleted from the code, then the whole site can crash or come down or not render in a nice way. Also, a lot of times we don't get access to the backend as well, right? So it's a very challenging situation to be in, and I think Google Tags Manager helps you uh, track a lot of things and implement functionalities and tracking on your website remotely without accessing the backend. Of course, you have to access it once, just to put the Google Tag Manager code once, and then after that you don't have to do anything, right? You have to do everything in Google Tag Manager. Google Tag Manager takes care of everything for you. If you see, Google Tag Manager is made up of three parts. The topmost layer is the account, so you need to create an account in Google Tag Manager, and within an account you need to create a container, right? And within the container you need to create tags and triggers, right? Containers are nothing but JavaScript code. So only once you need to add the JavaScript code to your website. That's only once. And then you have to create the tags which add functionalities to your site, right? Functionalities like tracking of people who come to visit your site, tracking your conversions, tracking your video views, etc. etc. So these are those tags that you create within Tag Manager. And then you create rules that when will these functionalities be triggered? When should the code, the tag for conversion tracking be triggered? When should the code for remarketing be triggered? So what are those rules? Those rules you define in the Tag Manager. Fine. So we are going to look at this uh, real life. Let's integrate these three types of tracking code. I will show you one, and then you can do rest yourself. I'll tell you how to do it, right? So let's go to Tag Manager. Great. So we can see that these are the accounts that we have, right? And within the accounts we have the containers here, right? So you can create a new account from here, and then you can also create a container within the same. If you go to account settings from here, and you can see you can create container also from here. You can see your account ID and account name, etc. Going back, uh, and you can see here in this account settings, I can see container settings, and I can see install Google Tag Manager also. If I click on this, I am told that I have to copy and paste tags, two tags. One is the head and one is the body. This is only done once. After that, you don't have to put any other tag in your site. Fine. So if you copy this, for example, if you Control A, Control C, and then this has to be pasted in the head section, the lower one has to be pasted in the body section. So if I go to my site, for instance, let's go to the site. Header files, right? So let me select. So you have to look for your header files here. You can see that here is the theme header. If I click on this, the code on my left changes, and I need to find the head section. You can see that I have pasted the Google Tag Manager head section here, right? And I need to also paste the other part, this part, after the opening of body tag. So I will have to find the body part. You can see this is the body. Just below head, when the head is closed, you will find the body tag opening, and you can see that I have pasted my second part of the code in the body section, right? So now when I go to my website, it is done. I don't have to paste any other code. All analytics, conversion tracking, remarketing, everything can be done through Google Tag Manager now. I don't have to paste any other code, go into the backend. I don't have to do everything. So this is the site. And to check whether the codes are working fine or not, you can see there is a extension here, right? This is called the Google Tag Assistant. You can find it in your Google Chrome extensions, right? Marketplace. Just download for free of cost. And this Tag Assistant, if you click on this, it will show you, okay, you have to enable it, and now it's going to get activated and start tracking everything. Fine. So fine, let's now integrate remarketing into it. Okay, I'll show the remarketing uh, part into it. So I'm going into my container called .con. Okay, and you can easily see that all the tags, all the triggers are given here. Fine. So if I want to create a remarketing tag, let's say new tag I have to create, and I will say new .con remarketing. Fine. And I have to configure. Click on the configure part, and you will already find pre-created tags for you. So Google Ads remarketing, I can select. Fine. Now it is asking me for my conversion ID and conversion label. Fair enough. So all I have to do is go to my Google Ads account, go to tools, remarketing. All information about remarketing is in my audience manager. Click on audience manager. Right, so we are here at the audience manager. I'm going to go to audience sources. My sources of audience is Google Ad Tags. I can edit the source if it's already there. The source is already created, right? So I'm going to save and continue, and I come to the page where I am told to reinstall the tag on your website, and there is a tag setup process. I don't have to bother about these things because I'm using the tag manager. This is my conversion ID. Fine, so I'm going here, putting my conversion ID here. That's about it. Everything else is optional. Save. Okay, fair enough. We have to add trigger. Remember, we don't uh, to just generally set a remarketing tag. We have to also set up a rule. So we are saying all pages actually. Right? This is a remarketing tab for all visitors, isn't it? So this is all pages. Any pages a person comes, he's tracked and kept into my this one. So I can say that new.com all pages. Fine. So this is my name for this, and this is triggering all pages. I don't have any problems. I just save it here. That's it. Okay. So it is done, and now I'm going to submit this here. When I submit, I have to put a version name. This is new.con. Okay, maybe version 1. Remarketing all. Fine. So this is done on, let's say, a specific date, and publish. Fine. So this is added now. In a similar fashion, you can actually do uh, create a new tag for analytics also the same way, right? So I'm going to choose, for example, analytics. When I choose analytics, I'll have to, of course, give some kind of great. So I need to select a new variable because I need to give an ID for my Google Analytics. Fine. So my tracking ID. And where do I find my tracking ID? I go to Analytics. Okay. And then I go to my admin section, and on tracking info, you can see here tracking code, and this is the ID that I'm going to get from Analytics. I can paste it here, and similar ways, right? Tracking trigger is all page views, right? So similar ways you can try it out. Uh, discard changes, right? Another one is to do conversion tracking from Google Ads. So all of you know that conversion tracking means that I want to track how many people clicked on my ad, Google AdWords ad, and then bought something from my website, or how many people watched my ad and then bought something from my website. That tracking is done by conversions. So go to the tools, and within tools click on conversions and create a conversion tracking for yourself, or a conversion action, right? So I'm saying all the people who come to my website by after seeing a Google AdWords ad and then buy something, then I am going to track them out. Okay. uh, Continue. This is a purchase. Okay, and continue, and then use the tag manager. I get my conversion ID, which I can paste in my tag manager, right? New tag, conversion tracking, conversion ID is this, and then conversion label is this. Okay, going back, this is the conversion label, fine, and then trigger. uh, I can say that, okay, fire this on a register page view. Whenever a person visits on this page, it should be fired. Fine. So, which means if a person registers, or if a person reaches a thank you page, or if a person reaches a shopping cart page, maybe, then conversion tracking should be fired. So, very simple. This is how Tag Manager works. Fine. So try it for yourself also. Any which ways, when we take up the analytics course, I think one of the upcoming modules is analytics only. Then we're going to again look at installing analytics code on our website. Okay, so we're going to discuss about the budgeting and planning process for digital marketing via two examples. So you can see here in the first example, uh, we are assuming that we are selling shoes online, and the MRP of the shoes is 1000 rupees, and the cost of making the shoe is 750 rupees. So when we are selling something, we have to take into account not just the MRP but also the complete cost of production. So we know that the cost of production in this case is 750 rupees, and hence our profit is about 250 rupees, right? But this is not the pure profit. We also have to advertise to sell it, so there is an advertising cost also that will be incurred. And if we are using digital marketing, then there has to be a cost that would be attributed to digital marketing, right? So normally marketing attributes a certain percentage of the profit or a certain percentage of the total MRP or total revenues that are generated from the sales. It can range from 5 to 6% to about 17, 18 odd percentage. So you can choose wherever you are comfortable, you are not compromising on profitability. You can choose that percentage and go ahead. In any case, whenever you advertise for the first time, you have to take assumptions. Once you have statistics and data with you, then you make intelligent guesses after that, right? So this is our first time, and you can see one scenario is that I completely compromise on my profitability, and I say that I am not going to earn a single penny out of it, in which case my advertising cost would be 250 rupees max, right? Since my profit is 250 rupees, I can spend a maximum of 250 rupees only. Otherwise, I'll be in losses. So, my break even point, the point where I am neither making a loss nor a profit, is 250 rupees. So, I've got one data point here, that this is the maximum amount I can spend on acquiring a conversion online for my shoe, right? Or, on the other hand, I can say that, look, I'm going to, let's say, spend 100 bucks out of this 250 rupees on advertising only, and I would want to retain a profit of 150. So completely depends upon you of how much profit do you want to retain and how much we want to give away as a part of marketing expense, right? The core and critical data point that we wanted to understand and know from here is what is our profitability, which we have derived, and this is the maximum point that we can go to promote our products, right? So we so then you have to create a chart like this. Okay, so whenever we do digital planning, we create something similar which starts from impressions. So impressions is the number of times your ad is seen by people, right? And then comes clicks. Clicks means number of times people click on your ad after they see it. So it's an important metric because clicks also can imply visits to your website. People, when they click, they are routed to your landing page or the page on which your product is being showcased. So clicks can be taken theoretically, let's say, as visits also. CTR is click-through rate, which means out of 100 times an ad was shown, how many times people clicked on it. So that's the CTR. CPC is cost per click. Okay, how much money are we paying per click? And the media could be Google AdWords, the media could be Facebook, the media could be display advertising somewhere. CPC is a standard form of costing. And then we have the total budget that we are spending, which will be derived, of course, based on number of total clicks multiplied by the cost per click. That is one way of deriving the budget. We can also derive to the budget by multiplying the sales, number of sales, into the cost per acquisition, right? So either ways the budget can be derived. This is sales unit, which means how much sales have we done, and this is conversion rate. So out of 100 clicks, how many people actually converted and bought something? That is conversion rate. And then the CPA, right? So this is a normal, very simple way of depicting a planning process for digital marketing. Now from this above chart, we know that our advertising cost that we're targeting is $100 per acquisition. We could also put 250, but in which case we will neither be in profit nor in losses. So either ways, right, up to us. So we could put 100 rupees here. Here, now we have to do some assumptions. Uh, so we are assuming that out of 100 people who land on our website, 10 are going to buy my product. Okay, so which is 10%. So I'm going to put 10% here. Fine. And sales unit, of course, is 1. So this is, we are deriving it for one person or one sale only. So one person is 10% of total number of clicks. Remember, clicks is almost equal to visits. And if we say that the conversion rate is 10%, we are essentially stating that out of 100 people who land on our website or 100 people who click on my ad, 10 people are going to buy, right? So so I can derive easily the number of clicks also from here, right? So 10% of 10 is essentially one sales unit, and 10% of 10, I have put 1 here already. So I need to have 10 clicks to get one sales unit. Fine. Now let's go ahead. We have to assume another metric which is called CTR. So we are assuming two metrics in this planning process. Why are we assuming? Because we don't have a precedence, we don't have an earlier experience. So if we're doing it for the first time, we have to assume the CTR and the conversion rate, and we are going to derive everything from these two metrics. However, if we have done an advertising activity earlier, then we can learn from that experience and put our last conversion rate and last achieved CTRs here to see what kind of monies we're going to spend and so on, right? But since here we don't have a precedence, we are going to assume that, and we are assuming it uh, as per what we think is fair. Okay. The reality might be different, but that's fine. When you execute it, the reality is different, then you're going to optimize it to make it as closer to your planning process. Even if you can't, don't worry, because that's the first time. So you get your learnings, and in the second planning process, second phase, then you put the real numbers that you achieved. So for now, we are just assuming it. So we are saying that the click-through rate, which means out of 100 impressions, how many people are clicking my ad, I am assuming 5% people are going to click my ads. Fine. So 5% people are going to click your ad out of X number of impressions. Fine. So you know that your clicks are 10 and CTR is 5%. So 5% of, if this was X, then 5% of X will be equal to 10, which means X will be, X is impression, X will be 10 into 100 divided by 5, right? Simple formula. And impressions would be 200. So you have impressions with you, you have clicks with you, you have CTR which you have already assumed, you have your CPA which is given from the above, right? You have assumed conversion rates, you know it is being done for one sales unit, so the budget is also there with you automatically, right? So you have all the data here with you. Now what you're getting from this planning process is that you know that I have to maintain a CPC of 10 bucks to do justice to this budget. Otherwise, the moment I increase or decrease it, the budget's going to, flicker. It's not going to be remaining the same. So I have to maintain that's my target when I execute the campaign. My CPC has to be 10 rupees. My target also is to optimize my CTR to 5% and my conversion rate at 10% so that I maintain my cost per acquisition of 100 rupees. Fine. So suppose if this CTR becomes 6%, you can see automatically things are changing. My sales unit has become 1.2, my budget has increased, right? My number of clicks have increased. Okay, so but my CPA is same. So this is a great tool if you want to play with the monies and keeping your CPA constant. If I want to keep my CPA constant and play with, let's say, conversion rates, CTRs, you can see everything else changes, right? So I know how this model is going to behave if my CPA is constant, and then what do I need to do, right? So you can create various scenarios from this model or this kind of an Excel sheet by just tweaking your conversion rates and CTRs. You can see how your budgets get impacted, how much budget you need, how many number of sales can you achieve. All this changes by just tweaking these two assumptions, right? So when you achieve this, let's say if we go ahead with our own old 5% and 10%, sorry, this is 10%. Fine. So we know that my total revenue is 1,000 bucks. Right? That's the revenue that I am going to get by selling one pair of shoes. My cost is 750 rupees already given to me. My cost of advertising is 100 rupees coming from here. Okay, that's my total budget that I'm spending, and my profit is $150 which I've achieved. Now suppose if I again make some formula, put some formula here and essentially link this with my total advertising budget, and profit is nothing but um, let's say your revenues, okay, minus sum of your costs, correct? That's your profit. Fine. Now if I change anything here, look at this. If I change this to 7%, sorry, 7%, what happens? Everything changes, right? My profitability changes. My profit is now higher at $180 because of this conversion rate. My budgets have reduced to 70 bucks, right? So this Excel sheet, if you can create this kind of an Excel sheet, putting in formulas, you can actually plan your budgets, your ROI, just by tweaking these two assumptions from here, right? That is how you derive your ROIs and budgets and planning process. Now, the derivation of budget is not a Herculean task. It is simply the number of units that you want to sell multiplied by your cost per acquisition that you want to achieve. As simple as that. So budgeting is not a problem, whether it is traditional marketing or digital marketing. It's very simple to derive a budget. The process becomes complex after that. But how do you plan this, right? How do you set it out for execution? So this is how you set it out for execution, by predicting or by planning what you're going to achieve and how you're going to optimize and how you're going to keep a hold on key metrics. So these are the key metrics that you have, and you have the opportunities to optimize it by tweaking your conversion rate and tweaking your click-through rate. These are the two handles that you have, right? And that is how you scale it up. Now if you have lots of budget, then you can go for more impressions. You can say, fair enough, I'm going to go for 10,000 or 1 lakh impressions. Everything changes for you again, right? But at 1 lakh impressions and 7% conversion rate, suddenly your profits kind of decline. Okay, because this we have not maintained this. Total revenue is, let me put the formula here, 1000 multiplied by the number of units we're selling. So this is what your real profit is. This is what your real advertising budget is. And of course we have to do this also. So 750 is my cost of procurement into the number of sales units. So this is your final model which is ready. You change stuff, you change your impressions, change your clicks, whatever you change, this table is going to change with a constant CPA of $100, right? So if you guys want this Excel sheet, let me know. I can mail it to you, so you can just fill in the details and it will calculate everything for you. Now the second scenario that we have is, let's take an example of a school. The second scenario is an example where we are looking at a traditional marketing being practiced at an organization, and we're trying to get inspired and taking cues from there to develop our own plan for digital. So again, very simple. So let's see this example of a school, and the school is promoting itself through two mechanisms. Number one, through hoardings, and number two, through pamphlets, right? So again, traditional marketing is not much measurable, so that is a problem that you will always face, uh, but still one can estimate the benefits of advertising through traditional mechanism, and one should put that in an Excel sheet to understand whatever ROIs one can comprehend from there. So we're saying that by putting in the hoarding in a local area, we are looking at that hoarding being viewed 10,000 times in a certain time frame, let's say a month, or let's say a week, or let's say a day, whatever time frame it is, you can estimate that and put it here. So let's say 10,000 times in a month that hoarding is viewed. That is equivalent to impressions that we have, right? Impressions is also number of times an ad is viewed. The pamphlets that we distribute maybe 4 times in a month uh, is viewed 100,000 times. So total impressions that we have is 110,000 impressions. Out of these, we get 30 calls or walk-ins or inquiries, and we can also, if there is an intelligent marketer there, he or she would try and attribute those inquiries to a certain source, right? Maybe they would ask people, how did you know about us? And hence, they would estimate that 20 of these inquiries have come in from hoardings and 10 from pamphlets. And again, how many people finally take admission in the school for their wards? Find that 12 people take admission finally, and 10 from the hoardings source and 2 from the pamphlet source, right? And the total cost that we have incurred on hoardings and pamphlets is also given here. We would know that 60,000, 50,000 and 10,000, that is 60,000 total. And if we divide this cost with the conversion, we can get cost per acquisition. We can also get conversion rate by uh, dividing your total conversions with the total leads multiplied by 100. So 10 divided by 20 into 100 for this part, and totally you can divide 12 by 20 by 30 and then multiply by 100 to get your conversion rate from leads. And you can also get conversion rates from impressions, okay, which means how many people who watched the ad also converted. So the ad was actually viewed 110,000 times, and total 12 people converted. So 12 divided by 110,000 multiplied by 100 is 0.03% is your lead to impression to conversion rate. Okay. So this is a traditional model and we know everything from here. All we have to do is just put the numbers from here back to this place. We have a conversion CPA data with us. So we are spending 4,615 bucks to acquire one admission, right? So this CPA we can put in here, and then we have a lot of other stuff also available to us. So do we have conversion rate? Yes, we don't have to assume now. In the second scenario, we are not assuming anything. We are transporting our conversion rate from traditional marketing into digital marketing plan. So conversion rate we already have, which is 43%, which we can put here. How many sales, which means how many admissions, conversions total, we have that number also here. We can put it here. Right, total budget 60,000 we have, we can put it here, right? And impressions we have, we can put impressions also here. And we can derive in a similar way all the stuff by importing our metrics from the traditional marketing domain, right? So because we are going to in the initial planning process, we are going to show that we are going to match these costs, okay? Or we can say that no, I can do it in half the cost. Since it's the first time you would be doing, you won't have any uh, data point to prove that. So you have to put either these numbers which you have achieved through traditional marketing, or you can put some number that you think you can achieve as a cost per acquisition. So you can see that I can achieve it in less than half the cost on digital. So fine. So maybe 2308 is the cost per acquisition that you would aim for here, and then same process. Fine. So you can do it in similar ways. You can also do something like this again and create something similar. So the CPA is already with us. This is the CPA here. I can just copy and paste for you. Sorry, it's not. Let me put it here. Fine. Conversion rates. Yes, we have conversion rate from walk-ins. Fine, which is this 43%. So if 100 people walk in or inquire, 43% actually buy my product or take admission in my school. Fine. So if conversion rate is 43%, what is the number of sales or admissions that we're looking at? We're looking at 13. Fine. So just put 13 here. 13. Okay. Now, what is the total budget? Total budget is 60,000 bucks. Also, we know again from our experience of spending monies in traditional marketing, 60,000 bucks. Fair enough. Okay, how many leads did we get? How many leads, inquiries, etc. do we plan to get? So we're going to get 30 from here. Fine. So 110,000. Okay. Now leads to all we need is that we need to take assumption of CTR. Okay, so let's take the same assumption of 5% CTR here. Fair enough. So if 5% CTR means that out of 100 impressions, how many clicks do we get? 5% of impressions is 5,500. So there is no clicks in the traditional mechanism, which is why we are just assuming the CTR here. And this is the number of clicks that we received. Fine. Now, how do you calculate your CPC? CPC is cost per click, and it is nothing but total budget divided by the number of clicks. Okay, so CPC is 11. So but you have to target now to justify your budgets, to justify your ROI, justify your cost per acquisition, and to justify that you can be as efficient as traditional or even better. This is the CPC that you have to aim for. Fine. So lead rate is, we already have the lead rate. Lead rate is nothing. We can derive it again if we want. Of how many leads are we getting from clicks, let's say. Okay. Actually less than that. So this is 0.55%. So we have got all the columns filled up for us. Okay. And this is how we're going to execute our plan now. We're going to tweak our CTR. We're going to tweak our lead rate, CPC. All these are handles for us now, right? If we increase our CPC, then everything is going to go haywire, right? So we have to make sure that our CPC is less than 11. Only then we are going to do justice to this cost per acquisition, and we can show that we are efficient, right? So the best way to start is either assumptions like this model here, or if you have an experience of what you have been spending on traditional marketing, you can derive numbers from traditional marketing, put it into your plan, and then execute it with the handles. So CPC is one handle. Make sure it does not go beyond 11 bucks. CTR is another handle. Make sure it is at least 5%. Okay. Make sure that your lead rate is 0.55% and above. And if you can do better lead rate, better CTRs, slightly lower CPCs, you can actually going to do much better in terms of achieving a lower CPA, and hence better profitability and more efficient marketing than traditional marketing. So this is how you do your budgeting and planning. In more advanced cases, you're going to divide this into various rows. So this row could be for AdWords, this could be for Facebook, this could be for email, this could be for organic SEO, right? And you will estimate how much clicks, how can I get, how much traffic, how much conversion rate from there, and total, what's my budget, what's my achievement of sales and ROI, right? That's how you do it. Now, if you want this, just send me a mail on saurabh@converse.com and I can send it to you. I'll for you so that you can mail it to me. You can write to me at saurabh@converse.com. Right? Thank you so much.